Welcome back to News First. Nearly 4.5 weeks of trial. The jury in the Jason Song case, after a day of deliberations, came back with a verdict late Thursday evening. Here's more. Jason Song has spent much of the year behind bars. And now that a verdict has been reached in the case, he faces even more time in prison. PNC spoke to the mother of the girl who filed the complaint, and although she is a fugitive, she says she has nothing to hide about the way she feels about the trial and her daughter's decision to stand up. She told PNC she, her daughter, decided back in 2016 that she would stand up against this monster she once called uncle, and to show other victims that they too can fight their monsters, further stating no one deserves their innocence to be crushed and taken by anyone, no matter who this person was to you. A monster is a monster. The verdict wasn't exactly what the government hoped for. Attorney General spokeswoman Carlina Charfara says the jury came back with a decision of guilty on the drug charges and not guilty on the criminal sexual conduct charges. Song was indicted on 4 counts of first-degree criminal sexual conduct, second-degree criminal sexual conduct, and possession of a Schedule II controlled substance with the intent to deliver, with the special allegation of delivery of a controlled substance to a minor. During the trial, the jury listened to testimony from the minor, who was 17 years old at the time of the incident. She says she was lured into his truck and made to smoke methamphetamine before she was sexually assaulted over the course of a day. Jurors also heard from defense attorney David Lujan, whose tactic appeared to be poking holes in the girl's testimony of the events that transpired on the day of the crime. When the allegations against Song arose, he told police that the sex was consensual and that the victim had asked him to smoke ice that day. He also claimed that the allegations against him were only being made because the victim's mother was blackmailing him for money. In response to the verdict, prosecutor Lenny Rapadas says, "While we are disappointed with the results, we are more disappointed for the victim, who had to endure almost 3 days of facing the defendant at trial." Song's sentencing hearing is set for January 31st, 2020. In other news, ground was broken on the new Central Precinct for the Guam Police Department. The new Central Precinct location has been under construction from January 2017 until a ribbon-cutting ceremony that took place June 20th of this year. PNC's Blake Watson has more.
The 10,000 square foot facility was built with federal funds. Inside the new precinct will be the police commander's office, briefing and interview rooms, and also a separate holding cell for juvenile and adult offenders.
Where we are today is we recently got a occupancy permit from the Department of Public Works, and that occupancy permit will allow for the Guam Police Department to start moving in their furnishings and their communication gear.
No easy feat for the job to get done. However, GURA, the Sinahanya Mayor's Office, and GPD all came together to further institute the safety of the community for years to come.
In totality, we spent about $4.1 million of HUD money. That's from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. $3.1 million was actually the facility itself. $1 million was the acquisition of the property. And what's pending now is there are warranty issues that we need to resolve with the Guam Police Department. We need to ensure that there's contracts in place to ensure that the warranty isn't voided. There's an 18-month warranty, I believe, on the air conditioning, on the water holding tank and the pump, and as well on the generator. So once GPD is able to provide all that information to us, then hopefully we can get full occupancy and allow them to move in.
GPD did tell PNC that they were able to obtain the procurement and have since started the process of moving in furniture and hardware necessary to operate a precinct. The new precinct will serve more than 50,000 residents of Central Guam living in the villages of Barragata, Sinahanya, Aganya Heights, Hagatnya, Minilao, Asan Maina, Mongmong Totu Maiti, Donya, and Ordat Chalanpago. Blake Watson, PNC News First.
In regional news, Boeing's Pacific One satellite will launch on December 15th to provide high-quality, low-cost broadband access in several locations across the Pacific. Here's more from PNC's Luella Lucinio.
Next month, the Pacific Broadband Satellites Group plans to launch a satellite from the SpaceX launch site in Cape Canaveral, Florida. The next-generation K-band satellite will stream broadband to 25 nations in Southeast Asia and the Pacific Islands, including the Federated States of Micronesia and the CNMI. In an interview with PNC, Christian Petero, Pacific CEO, said they want to provide high-speed, affordable, and accessible internet to extra-urban, rural, and remote users. He saw a critical unmet need in the Asia-Pacific region where high prices and unsuitable technology were prohibiting access to a lot of communities.
The goal of Pacific is to use these satellites, or rather our first satellite, but we have planned, of course, to have more in the future, to provide internet mainly to extra-urban, rural, provincial areas, remote areas that don't have the right infrastructure, oftentimes not the right level of population density.
Petero also shared the positive impacts of the expanded broadband service for the FSM and the other islands in the region. He said the Pacific system will be particularly appealing to the needs of health and education departments in provinces and villages. Furthermore, satellite broadband access provides critical communications to a region which is often the target of tropical storms, earthquakes, and tsunamis.
The difference that we are making is in different layers. The first difference is the fundamental one, which is about saving lives, and that is all about connecting healthcare, remote clinics, remote dispensaries, as well as providing resiliency against disasters.
This is Luella Lucinio for PNC News First.
According to Pacific, the Pacific One communications satellite has arrived at the SpaceX facilities, where it will be launched atop a Falcon 9 rocket to geostationary orbit. An awarding ceremony held this week for beneficiaries of the 13th annual Guam Reef Costume Run Walk. Chito D. Guzman Aguilo, event chairman and F&B director of Guam Reef Hotel, said they had a successful turnout this year and were able to garner enough support from the community so they could continue helping out various nonprofits on Guam, such as Make-A-Wish Foundation, Erica's House, and Catholic Social Services. Representatives from the nonprofits were at the ceremony to receive in-kind donations from the organizers of the event.
We really appreciate the participations to all the sponsors, to our generous sponsors and valued partners, because without them, this is not possible. Our accomplishment is because of them, because of the participants, because of the sponsors.
Guam Reef officials say they had the highest number of runners this year. In other news, the FSM government's Public Information Office is warning its citizens against fraudulent Facebook postings, encouraging people to avail of a federal funding opportunity. Just recently, an anonymous individual posted on an unauthorized page pretending to be the president of the Federated States of Micronesia, David Panuelo. In a message, the unknown individual said that the federal government has extended the grant awards for the non-existent UN Democratic Fund and is inviting the community to contact them for more information. After hearing reports from the community, the FSM Public Information Office issued a warning saying that the posting is a fraud, a scam, and there is no such thing as a UN Democratic Fund, and there is no such thing as free money. The FSM government is asking the FSM community to ignore and report the post to Facebook and to contact the FSM Public Information Office. Well, don't go away. Coming up next, we'll have Destiny Cruz and Leo Payuma with your weather and sports, so stay tuned.
Happy day, Marianas! Welcome to your local weather forecast. I'm Destiny Cruz, and thanks for tuning in. Well, it looks like we had a pretty might be day today as partly sunny skies prevailed over the Marianas. And speaking of might be, daytime temperatures rose to 88 degrees as heat index values hit 95. Thankfully, some of those isolated showers and light east winds of 5 to 10 miles per hour cooled us down from getting too hot. As we move into this evening, we can look out for a shift in weather patterns as mostly cloudy skies along with isolated showers and thunderstorms begin to roll in. Evening temperatures are expected to reach 77 degrees as southeast winds of 5 to 15 miles per hour begin to pick up. And as we look ahead to Saturday, we can expect partly cloudy conditions accompanied by some of those isolated showers. East winds of 5 to 15 miles per hour are expected to cool daytime temperatures of 88 degrees as evening lows reach 77. And finally, on Sunday, we can anticipate some sunshine along with isolated showers and thunderstorms to persist. Northeast winds of 15 to 20 miles per hour can be expected as daytime temperatures reach 88 and lows in the evening reach the upper 70s. And that wraps up today's weather report. Have a great rest of your day and be sure to tune in next time for more updates. Adios!